This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Eddie Hearn. We're in the immediate aftermath of Conor Benn's resounding win over Benn-Formella here at Wembley Arena. Eddie, first and foremost, great performance from Conor Benn tonight.
Well, first and foremost, we've already done 2 minutes this and your fucking battery went. So I thought it was a great performance. I mean, I was nervous about tonight and I felt if Conor was to win, he would come for a close fight. And what he did was he dominated Formella. I think he was close to stopping him as well. I thought he boxed really well early on. Got a little bit sloppy late on because he was trying to get him out of there, and that's what people want to see. You know, they don't want to see a guy get a lead and then just coast to a points victory. He was always in there trying to knock him out. I thought it was a great performance, a big future ahead, and of course made it very clear in the interview after who he wants next, and that's Josh Kelly. It won't be next, but we can certainly build towards that in 2021, and I see no reason why that mega fight can't happen.
You mentioned Josh Kelly. I've been on Twitter myself and I've seen people calling for that fight. It's a very, very different type of calling for it. They were 18, 24 months ago when the fight was first mooted, when people were looking at it as some sort of grotesque mismatch. But based on that performance tonight, that's a potential big fight for British boxing in 2021.
It's a huge fight. And you're right. You know, I was probably one of those people that, I don't know, 12 months ago said, you know, Josh Kelly is a guy who's had over 100 amateur bouts, was an Olympian, was an outstanding fighter, you know, has looked sensational, but Conor's got better and better and better. And Josh's momentum, because of illness and injury and lockdown, hasn't been as strong. That being said, Josh Kelly is still a tremendous fighter, but he does have the fight of his life against David Avanesian in January. So if he can come through that, I expect Conor to box again around that time, probably February, and we can build towards something really special in the summer. But, you know, it's great to have two at the top welterweights in the country, and two guys that are world ranked as well, under the stable, you know, from the UK, and you know, firing on all cylinders.
Conor Benn, absolutely unrecognisable from the man who had that war with Cedric Payno at York Hall. What does that say about the work that not only he has done, but also Tony Sims in the gym since then?
Both done a great job. I mean, firstly, Tony's a fantastic trainer, and you know, he's got history with the Benn family. He knew Nigel very well, and Nigel put his trust in Tony, and he was the right man for the job. I will say as well that Conor's work ethic is second to none. You know, Conor's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. You know, he doesn't take criticism very well. And I've told him on numerous occasions, just don't worry about it, just do your own thing. And it's difficult because I know that growing up, what it was like to have a very famous dad and always getting criticised. And as you start to achieve things, people just say it's because of your dad, it's because of your dad, because of your dad. And you fight so hard to try and get your own respect, you know, but that's good because it helps drive you. But you can't worry too much about what people are saying. You just got to do your own thing and follow your dreams and your path and your, you know, the strategy that you lay out. And he's doing that, but he is one of the hardest workers. And I always say that when people talk about boxing and, you know, the backgrounds of boxers, I mean, I could never have made it as a fighter because one, I was absolutely shit, but two, I had a rich dad, right? Well, he's got a rich dad, and he was brought up in, you know, the same kind of environment, but he's finding a way to do it. Show me a fighter that's had a privileged upbringing that's gone on to make it in recent times. I don't know. I mean, I actually can't name one. So he's up against it, but it's the fire that burns within that's enabling him to do it, and it's enabling him to work harder than anyone else. And I'm very proud of the work that he puts in, because for 13 months he hasn't boxed, and you know, he's worked tirelessly in the gym. I know other fighters that just would have had time off, had a little holiday. You know, he's a young man who's married, got a kid on the way. He's very settled, lives in the same village as me, right? Which is like the average age 90. And he's very focused on his career. So all he wants to do is achieve in the sport. And if you can have that commitment and if you have the ability, you'll be very difficult to beat.
It's not too late for Eddie Hills to make a triumphant return back to the ring.
Very good. It was very good. Yeah, like a jack in the box. Fucking terrible. I thought I was Muhammad Ali. But like on a serious note, you know, when I used to go down the gym, I was a soft, like, you know what I mean? And the first time I started getting hit, I didn't want to go anymore. It ain't easy, and you got to be made of the right stuff. Me, you are included as well. We're not. And he shouldn't be, but he has the DNA, but he is made of the right stuff. That's why, as much as I'm not the biggest Eubank fan, because I think they make catastrophic bad decisions in their career. You have to respect Eubank Jr. because he's tough. And he shouldn't really be tough because he don't come from that kind of background, you know? So I respect him, and I respect Conor and the work they put in.
Let's fly through the rest of the card. It's very late here. I know you want to get home to your family. Fabio Wardley in the chief support. Sort of bit of a strange one, really. The knockout. Me and you watched the replay several times over and over again. What did you make of his performance against Richard Lartey?
I thought it was really good. I mean, Lartey was hilarious. I mean, the ring walk was great. And backstage, he was telling me he's going to knock out Fabio Wardley, sign for Matchroom, and he was bang up for it. In the first round, I thought he looked really dangerous. And it was just the jab by Fabio Wardley, when you watch the replay back, that staggered him. And then he hit him with like a shot that was half on the gloves, half around the side of the head. You know, I've seen a lot of people, as usual, you know, especially people with agendas, oh, he took a dive. And if he did take a dive, fuck me, he should be in for an Oscar, because he was absolutely polaxed. I mean, in the ring, out of the ring, back here, back in the change room, he weren't with it at all. So I thought, you know, it's difficult to give Fabio Wardley the credit of a devastating knockout that, you know, took his chin clean off, because it didn't. It was just a heavy shot around the side of the head that was set up by the jab. So, but he stopped Richard Lartey in 2 rounds. And, you know, we know Dubois had a good fight with him, stopped him in 4. Gorman laboured to a 10-round points win. And once again, Fabio Wardley steps up to the plate. So you have to keep giving him respect. He was composed in there. He got hit by a couple of big left hooks in the first round. And, you know, took his time, broke him down, and I thought it was a good performance.
Where next for him? Because he's kind of in this weird place now where he's not had many fights, amateur or professional. He's come from the white-collar scene. Where's he going to go from here?
I think he should go on and fight for the British title, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, we know that should become vacant soon. Fabio was going to fight Dave Allen for the British title. Dave's now no longer fighting. And I think it will probably be a Gorman or something like that, of which we'd take that fight tomorrow. So I like Fabio Wardley. He's very composed. He's not getting carried away with himself. I like what he said in the interview, which is that, you know, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing, I've got a lot to learn, but I'm enjoying myself, I'm progressing. So I think he's a great talent.
The Savage returned again, emphatic in 3 rounds against, you know, Tom Little, who had talked the talk this week. He looked in tremendous shape, but the Savage got him out there in 3 rounds.
I think the Savage is great. I mean, you know, I think he's still trending on Twitter, top 5. I see a lot of people, like fighters, saying, oh, I can't believe this Savage is getting the opportunities, he's useless. It's like, no, he's fucking entertaining, right? People want to watch him fight. From the first bell till whenever the fight ends, he's trying to take your head off. And all these fights he keeps having, Shaundell Winters, oh, this is a bit of a step up, demolished. Niall Kennedy, this could be interesting, demolished. Tom Little, well, he's come in shape, this is going to be interesting, demolished. So you can't just say he's useless. There are a lot of questions still to answer, but I'm enjoying it. Are you enjoying it? I mean, you know, I see a lot of stuff I don't enjoy, and sometimes it's on our shows. But I enjoy entertainment, I enjoy knockouts, I enjoy characters, I enjoy personalities, and he's all of that. So long live the Savage. Might not last forever, but while he is, we'll fucking enjoy it. And him and Fabio will both box on January 30th on Dillian White's card.
I do enjoy the Savage. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've been campaigning all over Twitter about the Savage this year. One of British boxing's, well, emerging talents this year, for sure. Elsewhere on the card, we saw Jez Smith produce a very, very good performance in beating Ben Ridings, previously unbeaten Ben Ridings. He's been banging on about you. He wants Eddie Hearn, sign me up, baby. Great performance.
Really good. And for all the, you know, the Conor Benns coming through and the World Championship fights, sometimes it's those little wins that you see a smile on someone's face. I mean, tonight, Jez Smith will go home as a world champion in his eyes. You know, he'll go out. Imagine how happy he will be tonight. You know, he's had a couple of defeats lately, taking fights at the wrong weight or late notice, and his career's sort of going in the wrong direction. But for tonight, he'll feel like a superstar. Good luck to him. You know, I thought he boxed really, really well. Outclassed Ben Ridings, just was too experienced for him, to be honest with you. And, you know, he's talking about moving down to 154. As I said to all these kids, winner stays on. You know, it doesn't mean you're going to get a soft contract where you're going to have a load of walkover fights, but you will be given another opportunity to be in a fight on a Matchroom card. And if that's at 54, if that's at 60, he can fight Jez Smith. It's the first time I've watched him live. I've seen clips of him in other fights, but you can tell he can fight. You know, his brother can fight as well. He comes from that, you know, he's been brought up around boxing, and technically he's very good. And if he can get himself to 54 and in shape, listen, we've got plenty of fights for him.
Liam Davies opened the show very, very well. Very impressive performance in capturing the English bantamweight title against Sean Cairns.
Another one. You know, winner stays on. Errol Johnson, Steve Wood phoned me up and said, we've got this fight. It's a good fight. This kid can really fight, Liam Davies. Would you like to put it on? And they're the kind of fights I'm trying to start the shows with in lockdown, because it's difficult when there's no atmosphere in the arena. So you want to sort of kickstart and get off to a good start rather than just putting a 6-round mismatch on. So I was pleased with that. I thought it was a good fight, and overall I thought it was a really good show.
Okay, Eddie, before I let you go, I had a brief chat with Adam Smith yesterday about the Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. No, it wasn't about that. Anthony Joshua, Pulev price point of $24.95. We've spoken about it. What happened there? Why did it go from $19.95 as a regular? We had the $24.95 last year for AJ Ruiz too. How come it's back at $24.95 now?
Just because we've decided to keep the price the same. I mean, actually, you know, it is Sky's decision, but at a time where we've lost 70,000 spectators and millions and millions and millions and millions of revenue, we just decided to keep the price the same as it was for his last fight. Moving forward, I don't know. I mean, I guess the next fight will be against Tyson Fury. So will it be $24.95 or $29.95? I don't know. But it was a big challenge getting this fight made, and we just decided to keep the price the same as his last fight.
Would it not have been good to sort of give something back to boxing fans, keep it at $19.95, the standard price? We've got Dubois Joyce next week on BT Sport. Lomachenko Lopez in the States wasn't on pay-per-view. Would it have...
Well, it was on pay-per-view over here.
In the States?
Yeah, but we're talking about UK marks. You got Mike Tyson against Roy Jones next week. That's £19.95 for a 6-round exhibition. You got the biggest star in world boxing. You got a Brit in a world championship fight against Glowacki on the undercard in Lawrence Okoli. You got Kuzmin against Bakoli, great fight. You got Hughie Fury against Wack. You got Sissoko against Conway. You got about 4 other fights to go. So it's a great night of boxing. He's one of the biggest stars in boxing, and we just decided to keep it the same price as the last one. I don't know what else to tell you. Like I said, we've lost 70,000 fans. We're keeping the biggest star in world boxing fighting. This is why Tyson Fury, whose last fight was $24.95 as well, couldn't fight, because they couldn't get the money together, because they couldn't do enough pay-per-view buys. It would have been the same price, £24.95. So for us, yes, we've lost millions of pounds. We're not putting the price up, we're keeping it the same. Appreciate before that Ruiz fight was £19.95. Coogan said to me, he said, yeah, but do you think Andy Ruiz is as good a fighter? Do you think Aj-Pulev is as good a fighter as Andy Ruiz? Fighter. I went, fucking right he is. He's a better fighter than Andy Ruiz. When I made the first Andy Ruiz fight, everyone told me it was a dog shit fight. He knocked Anthony Joshua out and put him down 4 times at Madison Square Garden. Then we made the rematch and he beat him. Oh, Andy Ruiz weren't all that. So yes, Aj-Pulev and Andy Ruiz have exactly the same ability. Pulev more accomplished, actually, than Andy Ruiz. So again, going back to, we have lost millions of pounds off the gate that doesn't exist. We're keeping the price the same as his last fight.
We spoke about Usyk-Chisora were willing to take, cuts in wages. Was that never an option for Anthony Joshua?
Taking a huge cut in price. I mean, you know, you can deliver £8 million worth of revenue at the gate. It's no longer there.
Is that not made up by the extra £5?
No, not at all. Well, £8 million.
I don't know.
We'll do the maths.
I can't do the maths. That's your job.
You can do the maths. If you do 500,000 buyers with a split from Sky and a VAT, call it an extra £3. Not even that. Call it an extra £2. It's £1 million. He's probably taking a 40% pay cut to make this fight, as did Usyk and Chisora, as is Dubois and Joyce next week. But they're not. You know, when you say, "Oh, Dubois Joyce is not on boxing," these are British title fights. This is the biggest star in world boxing, making tens of millions of pounds a fight. So this is the difference of levels, and you're going to get to see, as I said, the most exciting fighter in world boxing, Anthony Joshua, and we're not even going to charge you any more than we charged for his last fight.
Do you accept that the last fight was a bigger fight, though, AJ Ruiz too?
I accept that it was as difficult as this fight.
Is it a bigger fight?
We'll see on the pay-per-view buys, probably, yeah. But is it tougher? No.
Okay, Eddie, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for having me in the bubble this week. I've really enjoyed my time.
Good,
don't imagine myself being back anytime soon, but thank you anyway. Look forward to catching up with you soon. Thanks, Ed.
See you soon. Cheers. Thank you.